Good afternoon, and welcome to today's discussion. I have brought in the leading expert on cadmium. Let me introduce Kimberly Mooney.
And my co-host, Shan Mooney.
Kimberly, what is cadmium?
Well, cadmium is a rare but widely dispersed element found naturally in nature.
Are there commercial uses for cadmium?
Cadmium is used in metal plating, producing pigments, nickel-cadmium batteries, as stabilizers in plastics, and in nuclear reactors.
Many rechargeable batteries are primarily cadmium, which is why they need to be disposed of and recycled correctly and not thrown away or burned.
That's right.
Is cadmium present in the environment?
Cadmium is mined and then released into the environment, mainly through the air during smelting. Once in the environment, cadmium moves easily through the soil. Certain plants, such as tobacco, rice, other certain grains, potatoes, and other vegetables take up cadmium from the soil.
How are people exposed to cadmium?
Well, cigarette smokers are exposed to cadmium through inhalation of tobacco smoke. A cigarette contains approximately 2 micrograms of cadmium. Oral ingestion is the major route of exposure for non-smokers. The average person is exposed to low levels of cadmium in their diet. Typically, dietary intake is about 30 micrograms per day. Inhalation can occur in workplace settings where cadmium is present and proper industrial hygiene does not occur.
Did you know that just recently they have decided that cadmium can be an issue in breast cancer?
Wow, I had no idea.
What happens to cadmium once it is in the body?
50% of the cadmium inhaled by a smoker is absorbed from the lungs into the bloodstream. Most orally ingested cadmium passes through the gastrointestinal tract, and only about 6% is absorbed. Cadmium absorption may occur in persons who are iron deficient and during pregnancy. Cadmium in water is more easily absorbed than cadmium in food, 5% in water versus about 2.5% in food. Negligible amounts, about 0.5% of cadmium, are absorbed through the skin. Once absorbed, cadmium is transported throughout the body in blood bound to a protein called metallothionein. The greatest concentration of cadmium in the body is found in the liver and kidneys. Absorbed cadmium is eliminated from the body primarily in urine. It is slowly excreted, and therefore accumulation in the body can be significant. Due to its slow excretion, cadmium accumulates in the body over a lifetime. In general, cadmium concentration in the blood reflects recent exposure, and cadmium concentration in urine reflects total body burden. When kidney damage from cadmium occurs, the excretion rate increases sharply, and urinary cadmium levels no longer reflect body burden.
How harmful is exposure to cadmium?
Well, cadmium is primarily toxic to the lungs and kidneys, with secondary effects on the skeletal system. Chronic exposure to cadmium through inhalation may result in impairment of lung function. Inhalation can also result in acute liver and kidney damage. Chronic cadmium exposure has been reported to cause mild amnesia, to affect the sense of smell, and yellow the teeth. Cadmium exposure may cause kidney dysfunction. Background exposure in water and air are not a health concern. Background dietary exposures are also not believed to cause adverse effects. However, lifetime exposure to high levels of cadmium in foods can lead to a serious kidney and bone disorder called ite disease.
Did you know that ite means ouch, ouch in Japanese?
Ooh, I had no idea. Also, symptoms and signs of ite disease include severe bone loss and kidney dysfunction.
Can exposure to cadmium cause cancer?
The EPA classifies cadmium as a probable human carcinogen.
Can exposure to cadmium cause cancer?
Well, the IARC, or International Agency for Research on Cancer, classifies cadmium as a known human carcinogen.
Kimberly, can exposure to cadmium cause cancer?
Like I said, the U.S. Department of Human and Health Services, or DHHS, classifies cadmium and components as known human carcinogens.
Guess we'll move on. Are some people at greater risk of harm from cadmium than others?
People who smoke cigarettes. Also, people who are malnourished and who are occupationally exposed to cadmium, such as jewelry making or paint manufacture, are at increased risk of harm compared to those who have not been exposed to cadmium.
What kind of preventive measures can people take to prevent or minimize cadmium exposure?
First of all, stop smoking. Maintain adequate iron intake in the diet, and practice good occupational hygiene if involved in work with cadmium or hobbies involving cadmium exposure, such as jewelry making or painting using cadmium.
What methods are available to remove cadmium from water?
Cation exchange units, reverse osmosis, or distillation all remove cadmium from drinking water.
You know, your dad wanted to get a reverse osmosis system for out here on our farm. Now I know why.
He's so smart.
What methods do not remove cadmium in drinking water?
Boiling water does not remove cadmium and is not a treatment alternative. As evaporation occurs during boiling, it actually increases cadmium concentration in the remaining water.
That's not good.
Right? Chemical disinfection, such as chlorination, also does not remove cadmium from water.
Where can we get more information?
For more information, such as in emergency situations involving chemical exposure and possible human health effects, call Iowa Poison Control Center at 800-222-1222.
Kimberly, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.